Greetings towards my Century Galaxy Kingdom. It's the Century Man here, so back again with another episode review of WCW Monday Nitro for the 11th of March 1996. This episode of Nitro was in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. This episode took place 2 weeks after the previous episode of Nitro on the 26th of February 1996. They didn't do an episode on the first week of March. That'll be on the 4th of March 1996. I don't want to get into it. The commentators for the show are Eric Bischoff, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Steve Mongo McMichael with Pepe. Pepe is Mongo's pet chihuahua. The first match to kick off this episode of Nitro, we got Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus the Giant. The Giant is the future Big Show, aka Paul White, with Jimmy Hart in his corner. You know, they represent the Dungeon of Doom. The match was a dull match. I kind of find it a little bit bored, but it was an okay match. This should be a squash match in my opinion. You should have, like, the Giant basically squash Jim Duggan. Notice about Jim Duggan, he's not really known for his wrestling skills in the ring. He's an okay worker, but he's more known for his character, the Patriot USA, the guy holding a 2x4, going, ho! Giant locking Duggan with the bear hug. I don't like bear hugs in pro wrestling. You know, with Jordan Grace doing her version of the bear hug, that's completely different. I know she's a woman, but she ended up swinging her opponent while holding the submission hold. But with, you know, men doing it, like, literally hugging guys, it's just like, no offense for being gay, but, you know, I'm not really bashing gays, but I just, like, I don't like that version of the bear hug. That's just me. You know, I don't want to get into it. So anyway, Duggan managed to clothesline the Giant out of the ring. In the end, he's trying to hit the Giant with a duct of tape. He grabs, like, duct tape. And then you got Jimmy Hart really snatched the duct tape out of the hands of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Giant chokeslam and pins Hacksaw Jim Duggan for the win. Like I said, it lasted about 7 minutes, almost 10 minutes. This should be a 2-minute squash match. You know, Duggan has like 1 or 2 offense. Giant should basically dominate and chokeslam, and that's it. Or bear hug him until he's passed out. Yeah, that's just me. So let's move on to the match of the night for me. So the next match, we got the first and only, I think it was the first and only tag team. Actually, the main event was a tag team match. We'll get to the main event a bit later. So the first tag team of this show, we got the Road Warriors, that is Hawk and Animal, versus the Steiner Brothers, that is Rick and Scott Steiner. And the announcer's bringing up that the original match is supposed to be the Road Warriors versus the Nasty Boys. I don't know why they didn't show up. I don't want to get into it. So, yeah, the Steiners are basically the last-minute substitute for the Nasty Boys. They enter the ring riding on motorcycles. I kind of find it cool. The match was good. I think they fought, you know, this is their second runs in the companies for the Steiners and the Road Warriors. Because the Road Warriors reunited in 1996. Steiners, like, you know, returned to the company in 1994. But yeah, they fought in the late 80s, early 90s of WCW or / the NWA. But it's not like this is a new match you've never seen before. But this was a good match. They got good chemistry between the Steiner Brothers and the Road Warriors. Both tag teams hit their tag team finisher, like, and both tag teams broke the pinfall. Like, the Road Warriors hit their tag team finisher, that is the Doomsday device, onto Rick Steiner. Scott broke up the pinfall. Scott hit the it's called the Frankensteiner. Almost call it the Hurricanrana. It is a Hurricanrana, but Scott called it the Frankensteiner. Hit the Frankenstein onto, I think it was on Animal. Hawk broke the pinfall. There was a mini brawl outside the ring. I think it's between Scott Steiner and Animal. In the end, the Steiners hit their tag team finisher. That is basically like Scott picked up Hawk on his shoulders. Rick hit like a bulldog off the top rope onto Hawk, and then all of a sudden, Animal hit Rick Steiner with, I don't know what it is. I think it was a piece of their armor. Anyway, the Road Warriors pins, you had Hot pins Rick Steiner for the victory. And then afterwards, you got a post-match interview between Mean Gene interviewing the Steiner brothers. And Scott says it took them 4 years to hunt down the Road Warriors, to say what they did in the ring is spectacle. And Rick says, they hit me like a ring shot. I don't know that was a ring. Let's go back to the finish of this match. Very unusual because I've been watching a lot of Nitros, 1995, 1996. Not at the time, but I haven't watched and reviewed Nitro in ages. But the Road Warriors, they not were heels, they were baby faces. To see Animal deck Rick with a piece of basically international objects. This was under Ted Turner rules, but hitting, I think the announcers call it they hit Rick with their spike. To see them hitting Rick, use a babyface tag team hit like other babyface tag team with an object. That's something like a heel would do because they're not heels, but they're babyfaces. Scott says it took, he said we started this, we're gonna end this, and they said they started the temple, they started the tenture, something like that. Can't remember. I'm gonna say it again. So Scott says they started the temple, they started the tension. Sorry about that. I can't remember. Got a bit of learning difficulties, man. Sometimes I don't remember dialogue when I'm reviewing pro wrestling shows, pro wrestling promos or dialogues in TV shows and movies. But Scott says we start this, we end this, and when Scott says it took them 4 years to hunt the Road Warriors because they're talking about 1992, because by the time because the Steiners left WCW to go to the WWF. Now by the time the Steiners were in the WWF, the Road Warriors left the company. Basically, Hawk has a drug problem. Animal went to Japan, formed his version of the Road Warriors. I don't know who replaced Hawk. It was a Japanese wrestler. I don't want to get into it. I don't really follow the Road Warriors in Japan. But, I think it's a continued rivalry between the Steiners and the Road Warriors. That's been a future down the road because I think the Road Warriors were feuding with Sting and Luger, the WCW World Tag Team Champions. So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, we got the Das Wunderkid Alex Wright versus one half of the WCW World Tag Team Champions. That is the Total Package Lex Luger. The match was an okay match. They wrestled fine. In the end, he had Jimmy Hart for the second Nitro in a row because he helped Luger to win his previous match. Alex Wright basically kicked Jimmy Hart out of the ring or out of the ring apron. In the end, Luger, instead of locking Alex Wright with the torture rack, he basically hit the stun gun for the win. I don't get it. And afterwards, he got pissed off. He was pissed off at Jimmy Hart that says, "What are you doing? I don't need your help." Yeah, like I said in my previous episode review of Nitro for the 26th of February 1996, they booking Luger weird. Because, I don't know if Luger's, I don't know. You can tell, in late 95 into early 1996, teaming up with Sting, you can tell he's breaking away from the Dungeon and Doom. This is fucking weird. I don't get it. He ended up being part of the Alliance, destroy Hulkamania in the Doomsday Cage match on December 96. When he faced, him, Flair, Arn, Taskmaster, when he faced Hogan and Savage on that show. I get it, but very weird. I don't get it. It's just this is they booked Luger as a tweener because at the same time, he's still associated with Jimmy Hart. But at the same time, he's teaming up with Sting. It's kind of what? It's very confusing. So moving on to the main event. The main event. This is the rematch from the previous episode of Nitro. We got Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, the reunite Mega Powers, the first time since 1989, before their feud for the WWF title at WrestleMania 5. You know, Mega Powers exploded. You know, that was last week. The Mega Powers and the Booty Man. The Booty Man is Ed Leslie, aka Brutus the Barber Beefcake, formerly known as the Zodiac. Now he's the Booty Man, taking on Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan. This time, this is a strap match, lumberjack match. It's a strap match and a lumberjack all in one. So who's the lumberjacks in this match? So we got basically just tag teams. You got like the Blue Bloods. That is Lord Steven Regal, the future William Regal, Dave Taylor, and the late Bobby Eaton. The reason I say late Bobby Eaton because in our current timeline, recently Bobby Eaton has really sadly passed away at the age of, I think, 63 years old. It was back then he was probably in his like late 30s, early 40s. So yeah, I said late Bobby Eaton because he died in our current timeline. We got Ming and Barbarian. I think they're starting the tag team. Conan, the Road Warriors, and Diamond Dallas Page. I think that's it. I think I missed it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I covered most of the lumberjacks. This match, to me, I thought it was going to be a clusterfuck because it's a strap match and also a lumberjack. You know, that's two clusterfuck matches. You know, two clusterfuck match types all in one. But instead, it wasn't a clusterfuck. Yeah, it was sort of a clusterfuck, but it was an okay main event. I kind of like intrigue. They didn't go in that format, you know, if you have to touch all four rings to win this match. It's just basically whipping each other with the strap, and you have to win by pinfall and submission. Yeah, you got the heels whipping Hogan, whipping Savage, whipping Booty Man. And also you had the appearance of Kimberly, the booty. I call her the booty girl because at this moment in time, I call her the bad girl because she was associating with Johnny B. Bad, you know, aka Mark Merrow. Because I think at this moment in time, Mark Merrow I think he's soon to leave WCW to go to the WWF. You know, with his real life wife Sable. You know, he begins to shit the bed in that company. I don't think he really shit the bed in WWF. He was Intercontinental Champion, but it's a damn shame. I don't want to get into the career of Mark Merrow in WWF. That's another topic for another time. So we got a cameo appearance of, you know, Kimberly as the booty girl because she's now associated with the Booty Man. That's Ed Leslie's one of the worst gimmicks. He has a lot of worst gimmicks in WCW. Like he was the Zodiac, he was the Booty Man. When he was the disciple in WCW, that's different. He was cool. Anyway, so I'm trying to keep it short and simple. In the end, Hogan pins Ric Flair. You know, he whipped him, hit the leg drop for the win. And before that, you had this tension between, you had the DOD, the Dungeon of Doom, you know, ambush Hogan and Savage. You know, you had Giant holding Hogan's arms. You got Loch Ness. Loch Ness is the formerly known as Giant Haystacks for if you're an old school diehard British wrestling fan. Loch Ness accidentally hit the Giant, you know, with the whip. He was going to hit Hogan. Hogan got out at the last minute, and he hit Giant instead. They end up brawling. This is still set up their match at Uncensored 96. And then afterwards, you got the post-match promo between Taskmaster, Flair, and Arn Anderson. I think they boo Hogan because this show was in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. This is in Ric Flair's territory. Yeah, and also, their promos was a little off in this. I didn't really follow it a little bit. Maybe a little bit. You know, you had, woman says, Savage, Flair stole your woman. Basically, you know, because Flair stole Elizabeth. I think at this moment of time, I think in real life, Savage and Elizabeth, they were married in real life. I think they're officially divorced, and then years later, Elizabeth ended up marrying Lex Luger until she died in 2003. I don't want to get into it. And also, Arn Anderson says, death to his part. Ric Flair was fucking ape shit in this match. Not in this match, in this segment. He's basically crazy, does the struts. You know, he was fucking full of Nature Boy. He's Nature Boy mode in this segment, you know. He said about Uncensored, we're gonna finish this. This is setting up the Doomsday cage match at Uncensored 1996. Holy shit, I don't want to get into it. I've seen bits and pieces of the Doomsday cage match at Uncensored 96. I see other people's reviews of that show. Should I review Uncensored 96? Maybe, but that'll be a fucking bad show. But he end up like Flair end up showing up into the announce area, being full of Nature Boy. You know, I'm not saying it's a weird thing, but when Ric Flair is doing his thing, like he's strutting and doing the elbow drop, I kind of find it funny. Great example when he does that shit. You know, the promo battle between him and Jay Lethal. Go and check it out. That was fucking funny. But anyway, so my final rating for this episode of Monday Nitro, I give it a 5. It was an okay show. It wasn't a bad show. The only bad... Actually, there's not really can't really find any bad matches. I think, like, the matches were okay. The 3 matches were in the okay. Between Giant versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Luger versus Alex Wright, the Thunder Kid. They wrestled a fine, okay match. And the main event was okay for what it is. For not, like, going in that, like, drought, you know, doing the whole touching the 4 corners, and, you know, and yeah, it's typical lumberjack shit, you know, got the lumberjacks getting involved. It didn't bother me, but, yeah, nothing in the bad. The only thing in the good, the match of the night for me has to be, the tag team match between the Steiners versus the Road Warriors. The ending was a bit so confusing, but it's just what it is. So, I hope you enjoy my review of WCW Monday Nitro for the 11th of March 1996. I think we got 2 Nitros away. Actually, 1 Nitro away until Uncensored 96. Leave your thoughts and comments below, smash the like button, click the like, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube for more wrestling videos and more. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. And also join the Central Unit today, or you missed out. This is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later.